Hey everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome to this video. We're going to be looking at all of the announcements coming out of Blizzcon. We're going to be looking at the hero announcements. We're also going to be taking a look at probably a couple of hero things that were announced that were not in the big opening ceremony thing, but in the smaller panel that people might have missed. And we'll also be taking a look at the State of the Nexus panel. Someone was Castellange something was nice enough to summarize it on Reddit, so we're going to jump over to that and dive into this. I've been playing some Hero League today. It's been awful. One thing, very strongly recommend, do not watch esports and then go straight into playing Hero League unless you want to be very frustrated by all the nonsense that happens. But anyway, here we go. Let's dive into this. Ooh, I'm getting messages on Battle.net, whatever. New heroes and more announced. So we got 2 heroes announced. A little bit disappointing, I guess, that we didn't get the 4 we normally get. But then again, I guess it also makes sense to keep the heroes that are coming up a little bit more mysterious. We know probably the next 2 which are coming out, which would be Varian and Ragnaros, who are announced. But the rest is, I guess, I know I kind of like it in a way, you know, that they hinted towards one more hero that's going to be coming out very soon, but they haven't fully given it away yet, or as to whether there might be more in between. But anyway, you can check out the trailer. It's very, very cool, the Forged by Fire trailer. So first of all, we have Varian. It's obviously the High King of the Alliance, and he's a very cool hero. We pop over here, you can see him on the official page on the Heroes of the Storm site. Yeah, he's the first multi-class hero. I'm personally, actually, I know people are more excited about Ragnaros. I'm actually probably more excited about Varian, which is kind of weird. I just think he looks a ton of fun. So basically the way he works, it's all going to be based around his heroic. You can see we can switch between warrior and assassin. Basically, his he starts off and he's running around with the sword one-handed, and his other hand I think is just there, you know, and he's trying to work out what to do. How do I fight better with the sword? What do I do with my second hand? If you pick into the warrior heroic, you've got 3 heroic choices. The warrior one is taunt, and this he pulls out a shield, and ta-da, you've got a shield. Then you've got this taunt is a very short ability. In fact, let's just actually do this. This is quicker. Here we go. So we have Taunt, right? Which costs 40 mana, 25-second cooldown, and it makes a target hero attack you for 1.25 seconds. I presume that maybe walk towards you and try to attack you, or else just shoot you from range if they can. Yeah, it's basically going to be like a stun / mind control type thing. Pretty damn useful. It also gives you a passive, just max health increased by 50% just straight up, but your attack speed is reduced by 25%. So that is the tank one. If we pop over here, we got the assassin one. He breaks the sword into 2. You got 2 swords, or he just picks up the sword in 2 hands. It goes, well, hey, fighting with 2 hands, that's actually more effective than fighting with just one. So you get to choose between Colossus Smash, which is, as you can see, the 2-handed one, or Twin Blades of Fury, which is you've got 2 one-handers. If we pop over here to just see those. Excuse me, you have Colossus Smash. It's going to be 40 mana with a 20-second cooldown. You smash a target enemy, you deal some damage, and you make them vulnerable for 3 seconds, and then it passively increases your attack damage by 75%. That's a pretty big buff. It's a pretty big buff. However, your max health is reduced by 10%. It looks like, as well, from the stuff I've seen, that this is like a bit of a jump. So it's a kind of like a gap closer, burst of damage, they're vulnerable, and there you go. The other option is Twin Blades of Fury. So basic attacks will reduce heroic strikes cooldown by 9 seconds, increase your move speed. I should say this. So heroic strikes, this is his trait. So every 18 seconds, his next basic attack does 140 bonus damage. By default, basic attacks reduce the cooldown by 2 seconds. So you can grab this, and basic attacks reduce it by 9 seconds. So 2 basic attacks are going to just restore the cooldown on heroic strike. So this is going to be all about attacking real quickly and getting heroic strike off. You also get movement speed off that. Increases your attack speed by 100%, but your damage goes down. So basically, is your attack damage going to be pretty weak, but you're going to be hitting really fast and just triggering your trait over and over and over. So I think all that stuff's pretty interesting. You got the choice between the heroic, the warrior, or the 2 forms of assassin. I was a little bit disappointed they didn't have the sort of the bruiser in there. You know, I guess I presume he will play like something of a bruiser anyway. But yeah, I think the Colossus Smash one is obviously much more bursty, right? So you hit harder, and you can apply the vulnerability and jump in, so much more bursty. Whereas the Twin Blades of Fury will be just a ton more sustained DPS. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the 2 of those pair together, and then obviously you can go into tanking as well. I suppose the big thing that this opens up with Varian it's going to be picking him early in the draft. You can pick him early in the draft, and it leaves you so open to going, okay, we're going to go into him as a melee assassin, or we're going to go into him as a warrior. So actually very difficult to draft against him in that sense, because you don't know which way they're going. You know, maybe they grab Muradin after Varian in the draft and go, okay, no, Varian's actually our damage dealer. Or maybe, I don't know, you grab the Butcher and Varian's actually going to be your tank, something like that. So I think that's quite intriguing. Also gives you the option to switch things up as things go. You basically say, well, I'm going to be either quite bursty or I'm going to be quite sustained, and we'll mix it up in terms of damage dealing, depending on what the enemy team does. And that's pretty cool. He also has a couple of pretty cool talents. I'll just kind of highlight the ones. In fact, here, you can pause it here if you want. And there is, I believe you can see that. Yeah, you should be able to see all that. So that's all the info on his basic abilities. He has a Q, which is a skill shot, does damage and does a slow. Looks like it's quite narrow, difficult to hit. You've got parry, which is the charge thing. You can activate it to reduce damage from basic attacks, so a bit of a survivability thing. Then you've got charge, long cooldown. You charge to an enemy, apply kind of a very powerful but very short duration slow. And then heroic strike, which will be probably quite a lot of your damage. So pretty cool dude. He's a pretty cool dude. Couple of talents just to show you guys that stood out to me as being particularly interesting. We've got High King's Quest, which is actually 3 quests in one talent. So you have one quest, which is to hit 50 heroes with basic attacks. Second quest to participate in 5 hero takedowns. Then a third quest to gather 20 regen globes. Each time you complete a quest, you gain 10 attack damage. When you do all 3, you gain an additional 30 attack damage for 60 attack damage total. That could obviously combo very well with the Colossus Smash, which is giving you just 75% more value out of that, which is pretty cool. I just think it's super fun that you've got this multi-quest thing. Yeah, I just adds a lot of flavor to them, and none of them are particularly difficult to do, really. So you will finish this fairly easily, but it's just cool. It's just a cool little fun thing. We haven't had anything quite like that before. Another one I thought was very cool is his level 13 talents. Basically, you've got these 3 banners. All of them have a 45-second cooldown. They all last 12 seconds, and apparently they've got a fairly large radius. They all do a different thing. You've got the banner of Stormwind, so 25% increased move speed to allied heroes. You have Ironforge, which is resistant to allied heroes, so reduced damage by 25%. Or you've got Dalaran, which is 20% increased ability power. So it's going to be a really interesting part of how you play Varian, is picking which one of the banners you want to use. They obviously all look very, very powerful. You've got Dalaran for burst and wombo combo. You've got Banner of Ironforge, which is, that tanky team fighting, or Banner of Stormwind if you're juking a lot of skill shots or want to engage or something like that. Pretty cool stuff going on here. And then finally, one last talent I want to show you here was called Shattering Throw. So you can activate the throw sword. It does a tiny bit of damage to the target. 52 damage to the target, but up to 1,457 damage to their shields. Okay, so this is a talent level 16. You activate it. Don't know how long the cooldown is, but just boom, you just explode someone's shields. Could be very effective against, like a Johanna with Indestructible, Tassadar, obviously, Brightwing with the Phase Shield. That's just kind of nuts, right? And then also your basic attacks deal up to 200% bonus damage to shields, so you just become a shield destroying machine. So that's another little niche there for Varian. We haven't had anything like that before, so that's very, very cool. And there you go. I think he's a really interesting looking hero. And see his abilities, how they look right here. I just think it's so cool that, I'm curious as well whether they might go back and rework some old heroes. So something they were mentioning was that they're going back and looking at older heroes. And I think reworks will become more and more important as we go forwards. So will we see more heroes pushed into this role? Like Tassadar, for example, would fit really well in, okay, you could choose support or assassin or whatever. That could work really well. So will they go back and mix up other heroes? And how many more of these will we see going forwards? It's just kind of awesome how it opens up the draft an awful lot. Kharazim, obviously. Kharazim could really do with this, support or assassin as well. So pretty interesting looking at that. And I am a fan of Varian, and Varian will be out very soon. In fact, it says it here. He'll be live on the servers on November 15th. So that's in just 10 days. I think he'll be up on the PTR next week, so the week before that, which is pretty exciting. So we'll get our hands on Varian very soon. He's a relatively straightforward hero, but he's got some cool little twists in terms of his talents and how much they impact how he plays. So very excited to see that. Next up, we got Ragnaros. Wait, before we go to that, here's his skins. There's his basic skin. There's his master skin. And there is his Logosh skin, where he's a gladiator. In fact, let's show you the warrior versions. So you get this, then you got this, and then you got this. They're the warrior versions. And then you can't see, unfortunately, what the big two-handed sword one looks like. That doesn't get any love here. But yeah, there you go. Alright, let's exit this off. Here we go. Ragnaros, the Fire Lord. The next hero that has been announced. And here he is. Pretty cool, dude. You know, the first like end of raid boss from Molten Core, the first raid of World of Warcraft. So very cool to see him in the game. He's gonna be a melee assassin, I believe. Let's just take a look at his skins first. This is his base skin. There's his master skin, and then you can be Lil Ragnaros, which looks really awesome in his stupid way. I've seen all the color variations in like the in development videos, and they're all just different shades of red and orange. It's a bit disappointing, like for every single skin. So you've got 9 different shades of red and orange if you want to play Ragnaros, which is kind of cool. So how does he work? Well, he's got his trait is probably the biggest and coolest thing about him. Empower Sulfurous makes your next basic attack instant. It does area damage and heals you for damage done. So pretty good wave clear. Just, you know, reset your auto attack, bit of burst damage in the team fight, and self-sustain as well. Pretty cool. You got Living Meteor. This one's actually pretty interesting. You call down a meteor, and a bit like Alarak with how you can draw the direction it goes, it seems to be the same with this. Is you call down a meteor, and then you draw the direction it rolls, and then when it rolls over people, it does quite a lot of damage to people that are caught in its path. And it's all about hitting people with the roll as opposed to the initial impact. Pretty cool. And you also have Blast Wave. You can ignite yourself for an ally, so give them a little bit of a speed boost for 1.5 seconds. Then they explode and do a bit of damage to people nearby. So an engage tool, an escape tool, put it on your warrior, maybe put it on yourself. And yeah, there you go. Pretty interesting. That should cover his 2 heroics before we dive into the trait, which is the really cool thing. You got Sulfurous Smash, and this is relatively straightforward. You can see it's like an AoE thing. It's just boom, you do AoE damage. People in the center take a lot of extra damage and get stunned for half a second, so it's pretty small stun, but there you go. Probably a big powerful chunk of burst damage. And so the team fighting one. The more interesting one for sure is called Lava Wave. So you release a massive lava wave which will go down a targeted lane and do high damage to enemies caught in the flames. So it would just go down a whole lane. So amazing if you're pushing with like an Immortal or pushing with Web Weavers or just something like that. I think that's such a cool idea, and it wipes out all the minions and just does a lot of damage to the heroes in that lane. So really powerful lane pushing ability. That's really unique. His trait, however, is where things get really interesting. It's called Molten Core. You claim an allied or a destroyed fort as your new Molten Core. And basically you become this huge Ragnaros on top of this fort then. All of your abilities become way more powerful, get way more range, and you get tons of health, which will just slowly decrease over time. In fact, if we pop over here, we can see exactly what things are going to do. So for your Q, which is that, you know, your basic attack gets more powerful, I think that's what it's going to look like there. Molten Core, it's going to be Molten Swing, so it will stun and damage nearby enemies and obviously be this big AoE swing. Your Living Meteor will be a meteor shower. You'll summon a whole line of meteors. Pretty cool. Your Molten Core, your Blast Wave will become Explosive Rune, which will do a delayed explosion in a large area. And yeah, there you go. I think your heroics are still the exact same. As far as I know, I don't think they changed. Does it say? No, it doesn't say, so I presume your heroics are still the same. But that has a 100-second cooldown. There you can see it in action, and it just, yeah, that sounds pretty awesome. And you can imagine, he's kind of like a specialist as well as a melee assassin. So you got the regular melee assassin play, nothing too new there, but then taking over a fort, either taking over one of your enemies' ones and really pressuring them down the lane, or taking over one of your ones to defend against it. Really going to add a very cool dynamic to the game. So I'm a huge fan of both these heroes. In terms of the cool talents here, let's see, was there anything that stood out to me as being really interesting? These talents weren't just interesting to me. I didn't find. I suppose the most interesting ones are at level 20 actually, which was this one is fine. The bigger deal was Lava Surge, so you get an additional charge on your lava waves. So you can have 2 of these. You can fire 2 down one lane or fire 2 ones down different lanes. Really put on a lot of pressure. Someone's hoovering outside. Hope the mic doesn't pick that up. Reduce the cooldown by 10 seconds. So how long is the cooldown anyway? I think it's 100. Yeah, it's 100 seconds, so it becomes 90 seconds. So that's a bit of a throwaway thing, but it's cool. It gets an additional charge at the very least. And then heroic difficulty, so you get 50% increased health and damage while you're in Molten Core, and reduces your cooldown by 50 seconds. So really just going all out in terms of yeah, using that Molten Core to, you know, de-push or to push in aggressively. Like, I mean, you know, we push into the enemy's, you know, base and take over one of their keeps that gets destroyed. That's pretty awesome. So very excited to see exactly how these guys are going to play out. They are the 2 new heroes. We do have a new map, Blackheart's Revenge, as well. It's just the next brawl. It's going to be like asymmetrical, so the teams take turns attacking and defending. I haven't actually seen it in action yet properly, so I guess we'll see that when it comes out. I don't think it's too exciting, honestly. It's just there will be a new brawl. It's going to be a cool little thing that you can attack and defend. I like that quite a lot. Before we go on to the Nexus challenge, let me just tell you about a couple of other heroes that were sort of hinted at. zul'jin being one of the main ones. So if you watch the in development videos, and you should check those out, one of the mounts that's been announced is the Amani War Bear, which was this troll themed bear from the original World of Warcraft. Well, someone asked about that, the bear, and yeah, basically they asked if zul'jin would be coming to HOTS anytime soon, and when the devs said, well, you saw that Amani Wear mount, well, yeah, that could be a hint. So definitely a very strong hint, basically confirmation, really, that zul'jin, he is a troll witch doctor. In fact, let's Google him so you can see him. zul'jin. He's a troll witch doctor. He's a pretty cool looking dude. I think he's a witch doctor. I could be wrong about that, actually. He's a troll. Anyway, we need trolls in the game. It's going to be pretty exciting. We have no idea what he's going to be. He obviously looks like something like an assassin, very much so. Could be like a stealthy assassin-y type rogue dude. I don't know. That could be pretty awesome. But yeah, there you go, zul'jin. He is probably going to be in the game, and probably very, very soon. He might even be the hero coming out after those two, the Ragnaros, Varian and then Ragnaros. I think they said Ragnaros will be coming out kind of early December, probably around then. They also announced some big changes to a few heroes, and they talked about how they're going to be reworking people quite a lot. So Artanis, he's basically going to be able to cast Phase Prism while blade dashing, and possibly some other changes as well. So you can like blade dash out, cast your prism, and then when you go back, you do this massive swap. So some really cool plays that could come from that. Dahaka, they said they want to make him a solo warrior. They're going to let people cancel Burrow early. They're going to make adaptation give a heal for all of the damage you absorb. They're also talking about moving his talents around as well, stuff like that. So yeah, making him like a solo warrior viable type hero. And then they also mentioned Karazim, and there's going to be these level 4 mystic allied talents, and it's going to be more assassin like. So we'll see exactly how that's going to be. So mystic, oh, there's actually some info here. So they're going to be stationary totems. You basically create this sort of spiritual version of yourself. One's going to heal, one's going to block, and one will grant vision. And it counts as a literal ally, so you can dash around using your Radiant Dash. You can create something to dash to yourself with that Mystic Ally, so that's pretty awesome. And Iron Fist will give movement speed. And oh yeah, this was a pretty big change they announced as well, is that Wave the 100 Fists punches will count towards the trait, so it's going to just like do a whole ton of bonus damage. So very, very cool Karazim. I do hope, like I said, they make him like a support type slash assassin. He can change up his roles, but I'm not sure if that will be the case. But it would still be pretty cool to see that. And yeah, they've talked about how they want to rework a lot of heroes in the future. And I think that makes sense, focusing more on hero reworks. And just improving heroes as their new design improves. For example, one of the things I saw in the panel as well that they were talking about was how, let's say, for example, on Illidan, you have that level 13, you have your defensive talent tier, where you just got to choose, well, which kind of defensive ability do I want to get? Do I want to get defense from ability damage? Do I get defense from basic attacks? Samuro is the same sort of thing at level 4, right? He's got his, you want Mirage, you get spell block, or do you want to take reduced damage from basic attacks, or just reduce damage in another way? And they're talking about just setting up talent tiers in that sense. So you have like one tier which is the damage abilities. Oriel is the same. A lot of the new heroes and the reworks they've done have been the same. It makes a lot more sense, I think. It lets you, yeah, it just gives you more genuine choices within the thing. Within your talent builds, instead of just picking the talents that, you know, when you've got like one damage talent, one defensive talent, one something else, it very often falls into a cookie cutter build where something is just discovered to be the best. At least when you've got the niche things like basic attack defense or spell defense, that's going to vary from game to game, and I think that's pretty cool. So working that into more heroes. Oh yeah, so they also have the Nexus challenge, so let's take a quick look at that. Pretty good way to earn a whole bunch of bonus loot in case you guys are interested. It's going to be between November 15th and January 4th. So to do the challenge, first of all, you group up with people. If you play 15 games with friends, you will unlock the first set of rewards. If you play 30 games then with friends, you'll unlock the second set. I presume it's 30 in total, not just an additional 30, but who knows. Either way, it's not too difficult to complete. But the play 15 games one is you're going to get a bunch of stuff in Overwatch. As you can see, you're going to get the Oni Genji skin, the Oni Genji portrait, and the Oni Genji spray all in Overwatch. And then also you're going to get Zarya and the Oni Genji portrait in Heroes of the Storm as well. So Zarya, one of the newest heroes, you're going to be able to get her for free in Heroes of the Storm. This is obviously designed to bring Overwatch players into Heroes of the Storm because they really should enjoy both games, I think. So people who want to unlock the Oni Genji stuff in Overwatch will hop over to the game. They're going to play a bunch of Heroes of the Storm. They're going to unlock their Overwatch stuff. Then they'll play 15 games. Maybe they'll enjoy quite a lot. They get Zarya, who's another Overwatch character. And yeah, I think it's a really fantastic initiative, and hopefully brings some fresh blood to the game and kind of makes Overwatch players that more aware of Heroes of the Storm and what's going on over there. If you continue to play the 30 games, you're going to get a bunch of cool stuff. You're going to get a 30-day stim pack. You're going to get a cool hover cycle mount, and then you're going to get 4 very interesting and unique heroes to pick up as well. Oriole, Greymane, Kerrigan, and Li Ming. Relatively difficult heroes to play, actually, some of them, but pretty cool too. So whole bunch of free heroes coming your way if you're newer to the game. I'm a little bit sad. All I'm going to get is the hover cycle mount and this 30-day stim pack. I own all these heroes already. But yeah, I think it's a pretty cool way to promote just cross-game initiatives between Overwatch and Heroes of the Storm. So that's something to definitely watch out for. Free 30-day stim pack as well. Pretty cool. Free mount. A lot of value in here for people. A lot of value. Very nice for new players and even kind of moderately timed players who don't have all the heroes unlocked. Pretty nice way to grab a bunch of those for yourself. And some of they're pretty expensive ones. Like I think a lot of those are like Zarya is like 10k gold. Oriole is. Li Ming is, I'm pretty sure. Kerrigan and Greymane might be 7k. They might be Greymane might be 10k. I don't know. Maybe Kerrigan's 4k now. I don't know. I don't remember. What that's saving yourself. You're getting a ton of value out of that. So really check that out. Finally, let us dive in to that's everything here. Oh yeah, it's got the fall championship stuff, which is very exciting. Looking forward to watching that today, starting in about 2 hours time from when I'm recording this. You can hop into Discord, by the way, if you're around during the finals here in Blizzcon. I will be on Discord and just typing away and chatting about that if anyone is there to discuss with. So anyway, let's dive into the State of the Nexus panel, the announcements and live updates as well. Some pretty big changes coming here to just the broader game as a whole. So for Hero League, they're discussing the idea for one season to test it out for Hero League being completely solo play only, and then moving 2s, 3s, and 5s into Team League. So no 4s, you can't queue, it's 4 people. That's alright, I think. But yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting change. I'd be quite excited to see how this works out. I think with duo queuing, it's only a very small advantage overall. I mean, it is an advantage, but a pretty small one. I think certainly at the very highest levels, players can exploit it a bit more because they understand it a bit more. But you see very, very few people actually doing that. I mean, the pro players will do it and they'll have ridiculously high win rates and stuff because they are, queuing together and they're able to exploit the sort of the teamwork that they have. But for most people, most casual players, duo queue isn't as big a deal as I think people make it out. Generally speaking, it's just a small bit better because there's not actually that much coordination or teamwork or like effective coordination and teamwork that much more than regular play. But anyway, still it should be pretty nice, and just it doesn't bother me at all because I pretty much only play solo, so I'm quite happy. I suppose it just removes a little bit of an advantage from other players, and that's fine with me. And then it will also massively improve Team League. Then if people want to duo queue, they'll be put into Team League games, and that's, in my opinion, fantastic. Because Team League, the queues can be long, it can be hard to find matchmade games, but it's a very enjoyable way to play. So anything that kind of boosts up that queue and gets more people playing, pretty fantastic. It just makes a lot of sense to me that this is the way they would do it. I think it's a really good idea. So there you go. So Hero League will reflect personal skill. Team League will reflect team coordination. Well, that's a nice way of putting it, isn't it? The Team League population will increase. Yep. Lower queue times, higher quality matches. Yep. They aren't confirmed for a specific season, of course. They want to try them out in the future. I think they should try them out next season. We'll see how it works out. And this is kind of interesting. We can see kind of the distribution of players in different game modes. So this was before the update, before Season 1, where you just had Quick Match versus AI and Ranked. That was how people were split up. And now, after the update, the Ranked update that is, you've got about half of players playing Quick Match, but 30% are in Ranked. Quite a few play versus AI as well, and then Unranked. Poor little Unranked is very small. Not many people playing that one. But yeah, a lot more people playing Ranked, which is pretty exciting. Whoops, daisies. And there you go. Pretty cool little stats to see right there. Then we also see the distribution of ranks, and this one was pretty stark, even more stark. So here was the preseason thing from rank 50 to rank 1. Obviously, you could not lose ranks below 40, so most people start around 40, and it goes down, and then a ton of people up in rank 1. So definitely the rank 1, they needed to expand this, which is what they did. And here you go, this is what it looks like right now. You got Season 1. So actually only 11% of people in bronze, a ton of people in silver, 35%. And even in bronze, you can see the people very close to silver are by far the most dense right there. Then a lot of people in gold in the same area as well. Platinum, pretty big too. Diamond, Master, and Grandmaster. So they're talking about getting, I think they want to get more people up into gold, and then they want to get less people down from diamond. I think that's their goals moving forwards for the next few seasons. But it looks pretty good. Obviously, the Grandmaster thing will move forwards a little bit now. That's only 200 people. I think that's good. And then, yeah, maybe like shrinking down Master and Diamond a little bit into Platinum and Gold. I think would be a good idea. We'll see exactly how it works out. But there you go. Pretty interesting to see the actual distribution of players from Season 1. So, you know, kind of roughly speaking where you stand right now. I mean, if you're in Gold 1 or something, like, you're pretty damn good compared to the average player, I guess. You're above average. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Matchmaking. Oh yeah, so they've got internal metrics, blah blah blah. Oh, this was interesting too for quick match players. This was how they started taking the consideration for hero level on board. So basically, before in quick match they just match people with based on their MMR. Now they match it with how experienced you are in a hero. So you can see before, as people went up in hero level, they just start winning more and more and more. Now they bring it more in line. So I suppose it's kind of sad for people playing heroes that they're very good at. They're not going to be winning as much as they were before, but people trying out new heroes are going to have a much nicer time. So overall, probably better for the game. And there you go. Oh yeah, so then we've got some new stuff which is coming, but not very soon, but looking forward to it in the future. So it's going to be personalized stats. So this is kind of interesting. It'll be a little note, I guess, on your profile. It'll say something like, great job, well done. You dealt 66,000 hero damage, 10% more than your average of 60,000 for, yeah, your whatever, how you do it on Alarak. I don't know. So that's pretty cool. You'll have these little things just saying, these little well done things, little ticks, little bonuses. And I think that's actually a really nice thing to add to the game. Haunted Mines is also going to be coming back. They've changed the golem spawn, so the golems will keep swapping lanes. The merc camps are gone. There's going to be sapper camps, like Towers of Doom. There's going to be 4 entrances to the mines, more evenly distributed skulls, and they hope to get it out by the end of the year. So we'll expect Haunted Mines back very, very soon. And that should be pretty exciting. It's much more balanced, much less snowbally. And yeah, we're going to have a new map. Well, a new old map back again. I'm sure a lot of people have joined since Haunted Mines was out, so they've never really played it. So look forward to that new map effectively coming very, very soon. There's also, yes, this is great as well. They're talking about really improving the progression system. So when you first start off Heroes of the Storm, I think it's really good. You're leveling up your heroes quickly. You're getting all this free gold and stuff and portraits and mounts and colors. And it's pretty nice. However, at the moment, it's cap progression. So obviously your account just caps out level 40. You're done. The hero levels, they say, are too grindy and the rewards are too infrequent. And they did remove some of them as well, which is a bit of a problem. So what they're going to do is that what they've said is they're going to make the hero levels go faster. Your account level is going to be the sum of your hero levels, so your account level is going to keep going up. And then they've been talking about, they haven't given any specifics, but they've been talking about adding more rewards then for people leveling up, and not just gold rewards either. So they could do cool things with portraits. They could do cool things with, you know, maybe just redesigning your profile, how your profile looks, maybe some bonus skins, bonus mounts, who knows, like they could add, there's so much potential for stuff they could add, you know, like dance emotes, animations, I don't know, flares, new skin variation, colors, tints, stuff like that. Like there's so much stuff you could do with progression and account progression and hero progression. I think this is very much called for. I think this is a really beneficial thing to add to the game, because, you know, it also removes a lot of the rage and the tilt, because it's something else to focus on. It's like, okay, well, we lost the rank game, that sucks, but at least we're earning some pretty cool stuff, and that's always nice. Giving extra things to work towards helps alleviate the investment and the stress that comes from working towards other things, basically. So yeah, there's so much stuff they could do with this. I really hope they push this quite far. I think it's quite important as well. Now the game's been out for over a year, 2 years, whatever it is. You know, a lot of people are kind of capped out in some of this sort of stuff, and that's sort of the initial, like, unlocking things feel that was there is very much gone. So it's about time, I think, that they added a lot more progression in terms of accounts. So I'm personally extremely excited for this one. There's also stuff that is not in development yet, but wanted very much. Oh, or I said everything here is in development, but is not in development yet. But they're talking about hero swaps in the draft, probably in custom games first. So I know people have been asking for this a lot. Especially doesn't bother me in the slightest. I really don't care. But I know some people are really looking for that, so there will be that. They'll also talk about battleground rotations, because there's already 11 battlegrounds live, and there will be 12 with Haunted Mines, I guess, and probably more coming in the future as well. So some sort of rotation. We did have small rotations there during the Machines of War patch. I think they're a bit too slow and a bit too small. So I'd like either faster or larger rotations than that coming forwards. But I do like the idea of having a few battlegrounds just, being shut down for a little while. If you could shut down Blackheart's Bay, like, all the time in the rotations, that'd be fantastic. Just want to throw that out there. Got integrated voice chat coming as well. Something else people really want and that I don't care about at all. I don't know. There's this sort of false hope, I feel, for some people, that they're like, oh, we'll have voice chat and then people will communicate positively. I'm like, well, they're still gonna rage and be nasty and call stupid shit in voice chat as well. So it's not gonna be that much better, you know? But maybe it'll work out. I don't know. I personally have got no interest in using it, but some people do, and that's great. For Team League, it'll be handy for sure. I mean, I just use Discord when I'm playing with friends anyway, and I want to, so it just doesn't bother me. I've got no real interest, but some people do. We'll see how it works out. I'm personally very skeptical about it, but we'll see. Then we also have the Party Finder. So you can like say, oh, I want to play as assassins, find me a party. I want to play support, find me a party, something like that. Pretty nice. And they're also talking about bringing in clans. I'm personally very excited about clans. I think clans and party finding and stuff like that is a really fantastic idea. And just adding a whole lot more personalization, progression, just kind of like fancy aesthetic stuff, even in the client as opposed to just in the game. Anything like that. But I think it's a huge idea. Just boost up that social aspect, help people play together, help people find friends, develop friendships, develop teams. Make Team League a bigger thing. I think those things will have a massively positive impact on the game, much more so than like hero swaps or integrated voice chat, which people are more excited about. I think these are the things that are really going to matter, and I'm very excited for that. There's also the Blackheart's Revenge. There'll be a trailer on YouTube soon if you want to see that, if you're interested. Then we got a few Q&A things. So will there be PvE content for heroes? They say they're passionate about it, but nothing to confirm yet. Maybe next Blizzcon. Drafting inside the client with time pools and hero swaps. So yeah, they're going to bring stuff there, and biggest focus for pro play. Again, I really don't think the swaps and stuff will be that relevant for just regular play. I don't see it personally, but maybe some people do. Talking about player disconnections and goal sinks being added. For gold, investing different ways to spend, but nothing to confirm yet. So there will be more ways to spend your gold. That's good. Like, I'm personally now reaching a stage as well where I've got all the heroes. Because I'm making videos, I have to buy all the heroes with cash on the PTR so I can make videos for you guys. So I'm just building up all this gold, and I will run out of gold sinks eventually. I've still got the mounts and stuff to buy, but yeah, new ways to spend gold, and yeah, just that ties in more to the progression, which makes sense to me. And yeah, they're talking about restarting or forgiving losses for really disadvantaged games. I don't like the idea of restarting the games, but I'm down with something like forgiving losses. It could be exploited potentially, but I mean, if someone disconnects at the start, you get maybe not even like totally forgiven, but even just like a reduced, rank point loss or something because you had a disconnect would be really nice. Just some way to alleviate that, because it's a pretty big pain in the ass. You're never going to fix it. You're still going to have people like feed or go AFK. It's Hero League. That's the way people are. So it's never going to be perfect, but it's not great at the moment, and they could definitely improve that. They didn't say anything about disconnections properly, so that's unfortunate. They need to improve the disconnect system or the reconnect system. I don't know if they can, though. So yeah, they don't want to replace hot slugs, but they want to offer you more hero stats, basically. So you'll see more stats in the client. That's nice. But hot slugs will still provide more detail, which is fine as well. When ranked players draft from a game, you consider, so they've already told that. Yeah. For specific roles, they already mentioned that as well. So yeah, obviously, like, the queue times get larger if you're like, I only want to play assassin, and everyone's like, I only want to play assassin. You have long queue times, but it's potentially coming in the future. And yeah, this is pretty nice as well. So people hitting hero level 20, obviously I'm nowhere near that, but some people are. I've been there for a long time. They want to remove the cap and let players show off their higher hero levels. I think that's a great idea. It makes a lot of sense to me. So no announcements as to what that will be, but it's pretty cool. I've also talked about stuff like this, that there's going to be more hero reworks coming in the future. I think it's a really good idea. Go back to these older heroes that don't see any play, that have this bad talent design, and just fix them up, make them modern. I think it's great. And there's going to be personalized stats, and they're going to look at how team MMR is assessed. That's nice. And then they say that it's obviously difficult to design heroes like Cho'Gall, but there you go. And there you go, guys. That is, I think, all the BlizzCon information. Most of the big ones anyway. So we got 2 new heroes. We got Varian and Ragnaros. We have zul'jin being teased as well. hero reworks upcoming for heroes like Dahaka, Karazim, and Artanis, and then more reworks coming in the future as well. Bunch of changes to how the game is going to work in terms of the Hero League thing. Yeah, more personalized stats, Haunted Minds coming back, and then they're working on progression system. They're working on all this stuff as well, though that's much more in the future. Yeah, then you've got all that free content you can unlock for Overwatch with the Genji stuff, or the free heroes and Heroes of the Storm. That's going to be coming out in the next like 10 days, and just playing with friends, you're going to unlock that. So there you go, guys. I think that's most of the stuff from BlizzCon. I hope you found that helpful. If you hadn't seen any of the BlizzCon stuff, or you're trying to just catch up on all of it, I've been Nubkeks. Give it a like, guys, if you liked it. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with some gameplay in Heroes of the Storm, grinding out this Hero League today. Oh, it's painful, but I'll do it. I will do it, and we'll be back then. And yeah, enjoy BlizzCon tonight. If you're watching tonight, I hope the semi-finals and the finals are going to be really good. Very excited to see what's going to go down. And yeah, I will see you guys very soon. Bye bye.